Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing? Good to see you guys. Oh, Facebook is taking a minute. Good morning, Facebook. How are you? Good to see you. Very, very good to see you. Happy day after 4th of July. Who had really good fireworks last night? I would love to know. Where are you coming in from? Tell me if you're on the replay and tell me where you're coming in from. I would love to know that. And I would love to hear, I have to move this a little bit so I can see TikTok stuff. I would love to know if you guys had fireworks last night. Did you guys get to see anything? So I'm in Minnesota and we're in the cities. And so if we would have driven through the cities, we would have seen like all of the show, but we didn't. We were at home. So we really didn't get to see, like, it was fine because, whatever, we had our own celebrations and everything is good. But they were kind of like low to the ground, but we could see many different, like, as we would stand on our deck and look around, we could see many different locations. So it's really kind of crazy. I was really surprised at how late they were going. Like, they just kept going and going and going. It's like, oh my gosh, I thought that, and I don't know, maybe people were doing their own personal things. I don't really know. So anyway, Las Vegas. Oh my gosh. So, okay, it's hot. I assume that's a hot emoji. That's so funny. Oxnard, California. I've never heard of Oxnard. Where are you by? That's super interesting. Now, Las Vegas, do they do crazy fireworks or no? Like, is security tight and you don't do fireworks, or is it like Lollapalooza? I would love to know that because that's kind of really super interesting. Good morning, Magda. You saw fireworks on TV. Oh, TV? Is that what you mean? Keep it safe. Yes. Well, that is true. If that's what you were saying, TV. 117 yesterday in Vegas. Holy shnikey, Ola. Are you kidding me? Oxnard is south of Santa Barbara. Very nice. Very nice. I think my mother was in fact, I do know. So my mom and my dad, they were married for a very long time. And I've said it before, she died last year at 94. And she did not know if she wanted to marry my dad. So she took off for Santa Barbara, but then they got married. So that's my connection to Santa Barbara. Anyway, let's see here. Okay, that's so interesting. I know I've never been to Santa Barbara. I've been to California, but just not there. I've been to Santa Monica, etc. So anyway, okay. I am so excited just to chat with you guys again today. So happy 4th of July weekend. I'm sure that people maybe are off of work and you've got really good things going on in your schedule. And so let's just chat for a few minutes. I kind of wanted to talk about gut today. And I apologize. I'm just grabbing my my supplements really quick because I usually do this like on my stories and I didn't take the time to do it. Whatever. I slept in. Let's just be honest. I slept in a tiny bit. And so oh, well, thank you very much. I know, isn't that a cute story? I'm looking cute today. Well, I changed the angle. Maybe that's what, I'm just kidding. So whatever. I'm constantly like working on my setup because I just have things going on. Like if you could see the things, and I still yet need another like Zambia, Africa. Oh my gosh. Welcome. That is so fun. I have a connection with somebody from Greece. Good morning, Terry. She says, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Terry. You guys are awesome. It's like we're just having, well, take your supplements with me if you haven't taken them yet today, because apparently that's what I'm going to do right here. I slept in a little bit, and so I need to take my supplements so that I would like to have clarity of mind here in about 15 minutes. That's my whole mental clarity and energy. It's uploading right now. Okay, so anyway, I still need another device. I'll figure that out. It's all good. It's all good. All right. So you're taking them now. Okay. We're going to take them together. Cheers. Like I said, I usually take them on my stories, but I haven't even opened my stories yet this morning. Good morning, Sarah. You're taking yours right now too. Cheers. Cheers. Take our supplements together. And this is my Genki dollar store box. And if you saw it closely, you would see that there was a crack right there. Like I've actually been to the dollar store and I keep forgetting not that I need to get it from there. It's just a funny story that I don't know. I did this years ago, you guys, years ago, and I just have kept it this way the whole time. It's hard to teach new habits, right? But there's a crack right there. And I just have everything all in one universe. I don't do pill boxes. I don't do, I've tried. My brain rejects it. My brain says, no, thank you. I'll pass. And so I don't know why that is. It just is what it is. So today I wanted to talk about actually the connection between insulin resistance and gut health, because I don't think that we completely understand all of the different connections that come out of insulin resistance. And so we keep thinking, Sarah, no, Sarah, you're adorable. You are. Anyway, I don't know. Never mind. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Duct tape. Duct tape for what? Hold on. What did I say? Oh, yes. I could put duct tape on here. I could probably buy pink duct tape and make it look pretty. I think I'll just buy a new case for $1, or I'll probably maybe buy a real one or something. I don't even know what I'll do. But anyway, you guys are funny. So we keep putting Band-Aids on things and not getting to the root issues. And that's why I love to talk so much about insulin resistance, because again, for anybody who doesn't know who I am, my name is Kirsten Liebelt. Hi, how are ya? Nice to meet you. My dad died of type 2 diabetes when he was 63, and I was 30 at the time. My kids were really little. They were 6, 3, and 6 months old, so they completely missed out on their Italian grandpa. They have, like, maybe my oldest has a memory, right? Like very little. And that's too bad, right? But he was very young. And I'm being Italian, there's just a lot of obesity and type 2 in my family. And so this is a very honest conversation of my journey, having watched my dad die with a lazy Susan full of meds, and kind of scratching my head going, I don't get it. Like this wasn't a terminal diagnosis. Like he, and I know I'm being really naive, but I'm just telling you my mental thought process of, I don't get, like, why didn't those meds like turn anything back, cure anything, help anything? And as I went down the rabbit hole, so to speak, I realized, oh, that was never designed to do that. Those were never designed to actually heal, turn back, or anything. They were designed to supposedly manage, and a poor job at that they did. Very poor. So as I went, and I kind of did a lot of, studying, and I love Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Eric Berg, Maria Emmerich. These are the people that I've really paid attention to. There are more than that for sure. Because it's like, wait a second. So if this is what we're given as a food pyramid, and we are sicker and more obese and more medicated than we've ever been, what's wrong with this picture? And where's the missing link to our health? And why are we talking about this so flippantly when it can lead to such serious things? One of the things with type 2 diabetes is that you get to the point where your wounds don't heal, right? So my dad always had wounds on his legs and discoloration. And, when I was in my 40s, I was insulin resistant in my 20s with my babies, my pregnancies, gestational with one and hypoglycemic with the second. So when I hit my 40s, and my mom is like, Kirsten, she literally said, do you ever even go to the doctor? Like, do you get your sugars checked? Kind of like, what's wrong with you? And so then she was constantly asking me, like, are you thirsty all the time? Like if you go to get a glass of ice water, are you thirsty all the time? You go to the bathroom, are you peeing all the time? Because she lived with so much bad side effects of, excuse me, my dad's type 2. And he did all the things. He did all the heart surgeries and all the dialysis and all the things and procedures, and it was terrible. But because of that, I knew to, if I had an injury on my leg or something, to watch it and go, how's it healing? How's it healing? I didn't go to the doctor, but I would watched the symptoms. So things don't get better with insulin resistance gone wrong. That sounds like a bad movie, but they get worse. And my dad was supposedly, I don't have proof of it or anything, but my mom said that he was probably pretty close to amputation of something, meaning I think maybe a toe or something like that, because that's what can go wrong, right? So we have to stop being so flippant about this in our society. And I know that y'all, because I talk to you in my texts, in my inbox all the time, you're very frustrated with being dismissed. You feel unheard. you feel like maybe you're being blamed for not following protocol on how to eat according to what they're telling you how to eat. And then when you do and you don't get results, they say maybe you're just not paying attention, you're not listening, you're not whatever. And I hear all of this. And so let's just talk about some of the connections and see where this can go. I do have a Facebook group called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And next week, I'm doing another challenge. It starts on Monday, July 8th. And I've done one now. This is our 14th one. I'm very excited about it. I love resourcing. I love like having you guys open up your toolbox and let's put some tools inside of your toolbox so that you can actually learn some ingredient trade outs. Come into my pantry and my refrigerator and find out what it looks like after you've completely changed out like some of your foods and thought processes. Let's talk about targeted supplementation. I talk about that all the time because that has been that was where I started, and that's where all of my testimonies come from. People like jump-starting their bodies and going from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive. And then all of those ingredient trade outs so that you can fix what got you into the pickle to begin with. And so then we'll end the week with a recipe. That's what we've done now this will be our 14th time. And it's been such a blessing because you guys, number one, are you ladies, because it's for women, you're so encouraging of each other, and nobody wants shame or judgment. We want to learn how to do this journey well without shame or judgment. So when it comes to the challenges in the Facebook group, every month we do a challenge at the beginning of the month so that you can nail the month that you're in, and we'll add those together and then you can get results. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about the connection with insulin resistance and gut health. And then, and then we'll chat about whatever you want to chat about. And if you need any information on the trio, the 4th of July flash sale is done. However, you can see the trio are the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. It's where I started over 10 years ago, and I still do today. And now I teach it with food. The testimonies are all on Instagram, and there's a pink highlight bubble at the top. Really worth your 5 minutes to just go over there and read the testimonies. And then if you need anything, jump into my inbox and ask me questions, because I will help you. I will get you a cart so that you can see everything in one place and make it easy. Okay, so let's talk about this. All right, gut health and insulin resistance. So the question is, why does insulin resistance actually create gut issues? Like, insulin resistance is the creator of so much nonsense. And maybe we're trying to put Band-Aids on things. Sometimes we're taking, antacids. Sometimes we're taking prescriptions. I have to stop. I can't say that word. Sometimes we're taking scripts. Sometimes we're doing things that are mostly because of tickety talk. So we're putting all these Band-Aids and we're taking all this advice about doing that. But what if we could just understand how to turn it back? But this is how this is all happening with insulin resistance and gut health. So insulin resistance can cause gut issues due to altered gut microbiome. So it's literally altering it, right? So there's chronic inflammation, disrupted metabolism. We know that, right? Anybody who I'm talking to, the number one thing people want help with is metabolism, or just to be able to lose fat, right? Symptoms include bloating, constipation, diarrhea, abdominal pain. And it says processed foods and alcohol are common irritants, and there are supplements that can help you. And we're going to talk about all of that. So basically, your altered gut microbiome. Insulin resistance is associated with changes in the composition of your gut bacteria, leading to dysbiosis. That's a big word. Yes, she says. Yes, exactly. She's agreeing. I like that. Leading to dysbiosis, imbalance of gut bacteria. That's what that means. This can increase intestinal permeability, which is leaky gut and inflammation. So instead of being, we're diagnosed with maybe leaky gut. And again, I'm not a doctor, right? So I'm just one of y'all. I'm an Italian girl who figured this out because of my my upbringing and my dad, right? So oftentimes people will go to the doctor for leaky gut or whatever, and you just get maybe you're just getting scripts for answers. Well, what if there's a precursor to that, which is insulin resistance? So it's causing gut issues like leaky gut, and there's a lot of inflammation, chronic inflammation associated with insulin resistance, because when your insulin is high all the time, it's a lot of inflammation going on. So we have to bring that inflammation down. That's why some people add to their trio, when they grab the trio, they grab the turmeric, because they need to get that inflammation down a lot further. That's a really good turmeric, by the way, 45 times more absorbable than an average brand. Like, amazing. Damage the gut. The inflammation is damaging the gut lining, and it's leading to gastrointestinal symptoms. And then glucose and lipid metabolism. Poor glucose and lipid metabolism can affect your gut mobility and function, contributing to digestive issues. So that is that's kind of the basis of that. So your top 3 symptoms then of this, and you probably already know what these are. I mean, if you're experiencing these, you already know what these are. So if you're brave and you want to say, yes, these are you can, but you don't have to. But these are basically, and we kind of all know this, but bloating and gas. So increased fermentation in the gut due to dysbiosis can lead to excessive gas and bloating. And see, we're being given really poor information. So when I teach food, I teach whole food keto, basically, is what I do. Not fad keto, not processed food from Costco keto, not just as close to, one ingredient. That's really maybe not the right way to say that. That's not the right way. Just whole foods, and not the processed stuff that you can buy at the store that says it's keto friendly. Maybe that makes more sense. Anyway. And so we get a lot of really bad information as to meat is the cause of gas and bloating and That's actually completely not true. Number one, insulin resistance is your precursor to everything. But number two, there are so many people now that have had such gut issues that they actually have to back off of vegetables, which is that's not a great conversation, right? For most people. But the truth is that they can be so just irritating inside of your gut. And so anyway, so increased fermentation in the gut is actually not because you're eating meat. It's actually because of the insulin resistance that's already there. Constipation or diarrhea. Insulin resistance can disrupt normal bowel movements, leading to either constipation or diarrhea. And again, just tip of the day, if you've never heard to take a magnesium citrate, go get a magnesium citrate, like a blend. Like, just have it in a magnesium blend. You don't have to take it straight, but that will help. You don't have to take, in my opinion, for myself, I don't want to have to ever take like a stool softener or get on a script for that. You're messing up your system even more. And every time you take a script, you're creating a nutritional deficiency. So don't do that. But you can go get a magnesium glycinate blend to stay more regular. That was for free. Not that any of this is costing you anything, but that one was double free. That was free 99. So magnesium citrate. And then abdominal pain and discomfort. Inflammation and altered gut motility can cause pain and general discomfort in the abdominal area. So that's all the digestive issues. People are really very much, hello, Carrie. Thank you so much for all of your likes. You're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, is berberine good too for your gut? That's interesting. See, now I've never done berberine as a part of my protocol. There was not around or thought of or whatever over 10 years ago. That wasn't a piece of the protocol for anybody. Excuse me. So that's interesting. So processed foods, obviously, hold on, let me move this. Come on. Hold on. Working with my Android. Okay. Top 3 irritants. All right. So now we know that there's a gut microbiome disruption when you are insulin resistant. It's causing it. You're experiencing potentially gas and bloating, diarrhea, constipation, abdominal discomfort. Those are the things. If you want to slow down some of the irritation that's already, going on, Processed foods, I think that should be an automatic given. Like we know this, right? We know this, that processed food is really messing us up. I mean, it's the seed oils, it's all of it's the chemicals, it's what everything is sprayed with. It's the high fructose corn syrup. It's all the things. We already know this. Artificial sweeteners, like aspartame, etc. Those can be super irritating. There are times when natural sweeteners like an allulose, which is actually really good for your gut or your sugars, actually, it can disrupt, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like aspartame. And then alcohol is an excessive alcohol consumption can damage the gut lining and alter the gut microbiome, increasing inflammation. And so, yes, that is true. So now let's just chat about the supplements. So maybe you already have some of these supplements in your cupboard, and maybe you don't, but here are some supplements that can really, really help you. Yeah, I know processed foods, they are so dangerous. Excuse me. I just need some more water. So see, this is what happens when I get off schedule. So I stayed up late. I'm mailing out, see my mess. Oh, some people can see my mess. TikTok in. This is my mess of mail. It's a controlled chaos. Instagram, you can kind of see it. This is my mess because what I'm doing is I'm mailing out, we had a July 4th flash sale on Trio. So I'm mailing out some Trio out of my inventory for people with a discount. Anyway, doesn't matter. And so I've got this mess going. I stayed up later, watched some movies. Has anybody seen Miss Congeniality? I forget how funny that movie is. That's a really funny movie. And then we watched Miss Congeniality too. Got to be honest, it's just not as funny. I don't know that it was really meant to be, but the first one is really funny. Okay, so I stayed up later than usual. I need to drink more water. Okay, so 3 supplements that can help you with a lot of this inflammation and what's going on in your system. Number 1, probiotics. I mean, this is a given, right? So the probiotic, I don't even have it on me. The probiotic that I take is a stick, a powder stick. But it doesn't just have probiotic in it. It has a prebiotic and then 5 strains of active probiotic strains. Okay. So you can actually make a difference. In my opinion, yogurt's not enough. Kefir's not enough. Kombucha's not enough. Like, I think that once we enter insulin resistance land, I'm just going to be honest. A lot of things are off course and we have to right the course. We have to get back on. And so, probiotic, like every single day, I take a probiotic every single day. And if you want a cart with the 3 things I'm going to talk about, you can always let me know. Hey, I was on your live. I'd like to see the cart. You can see all 3 things in one area. Okay. I talk about carts all the time, every day. So you could just put like gut health. I need my gut health cart to look at. Probiotics, and that's super convenient packet. Number 2, they're talking about omega fatty acids. And this is the thing, with fish oil, if you go to the store and you buy fish that is not wild caught, don't buy which you should. You should always have wild caught fish. You don't want farmed fish. Make sure that it's that way in your supplements too. Like, has that ever dawned on you to make sure that you're getting a fish oil that is wild caught? You want that. And omega-3 fatty acids, number 1, we're trying to offset the omega-6s. The omega-6s are coming from all the seed oils that we are ingesting in all of our prepackaged foods, all of our processed foods. I went to a Mexican restaurant yesterday with my husband and my 2 boys, my 2 sons. Really good food, but I think probably 100% it was all done in seed oil. And I just know that when I go. So I'm not looking for perfection. I just don't have them in my home, right? I don't buy them. I don't buy food that has seed oil in it. And I just know that when I go to, a restaurant, I'm not going to control. Some people have to because they have an autoimmune and they have to be really careful and they have to ask, what was this cooked in? What was this? And that's nothing wrong with that. But seed oils are literally everywhere. And so those omega-6s are so highly inflammatory that we have to offset. So we have to get up and over the ratio of omega-6 and get into the omega-3 being dominant, our fish oil, which of course, like we're not eating enough fish probably, and good luck getting in that level that you really need to offset. And so make sure that it's wild caught, but it's so good for inflammation. It's so good to bring down that inflammation of the seed oils, right? So fish oil supplements can be good sources of, okay, yep. Supports overall gut health. So I don't even know if anybody knew that fish oil is really good for your gut. Like, I don't know that we think about that, right? So anyway, and then the last one is digestive enzymes. Has anybody used a digestive enzyme for anything? I take digestive enzymes every single day, and they actually help you to break down your food really, really well. And the thing is that, like, even with my daughter, when she had she had gallstones with one of her pregnancies. And one of the first things that we started her on was, I talked about this yesterday, was I grabbed the digestive enzyme out of my cupboard and I put that in there. And I'm going to read that Created to Heal by Vicki. Hold on just a second. And digestive enzymes can be super, super beneficial. And so in my opinion, it's like when I'm talking to somebody about gut health, and I do have a product that's launching August 7th. It's a gut primer. So I will be talking about that when I get some information, because I'm very, very excited about that kind of a product. But a good probiotic, a good fish oil, and a good digestive enzyme, and you have a very nice little package of thought process to help everything continue to move on. And if you, like, on Facebook, your messages, your comments will stay after I'm done on my live, but TikTok and Instagram, they won't stay. They will go away. So on Facebook, you could put, like gut health, and I will get you a cart of those 3, and you can look at them on your own. And everybody else, like in TikTok, I always tell you, just jump over to Instagram, just get right into my messages, my DMs, and I can get you a customized cart so that you can look at things. Like, a confused mind does nothing. And so that's not very beneficial, right? Like, let's make sure that you actually, I talk about that with the trio a lot. And you can also tell me if you want the trio in there too. But if you know that the testimonies are that people's, their fasting insulin has come down, their blood sugars have come down in testimonies, their weight has, because when your insulin and your sugars are high, you can't lose weight. This is why we're stuck. It's a hormonal conversation. It's not a calorie in, calorie out conversation. It's not a count your points conversation. This is literally a hormonal conversation. Insulin is a hormone. And this isn't the conversation we're getting when we go maybe to a provider. And that is very, very frustrating, because all we're being given are Band-Aids. Just like for our gut health, we're being given Band-Aids oftentimes. And it's frustrating because this is not a terminal conversation. This is an everyday conversation of things that can turn back. That's why I just get so freaking fired up about it, because it's like, come on. The indoctrination of PHA, the rest of it, is so strong. It's so strong that I literally can't even say the word. Do you understand? Do you understand the stronghold? Do you understand what they're doing? Because that's the only answer they're allowed to give. Almost always. And if they do give you a supplement recommendation, guess who's making it? Are they writing out a piece of paper for you? Or, well, they probably don't do that anymore. They do it online. But are you picking it up at Walgreens at the same time as you're picking up the other script? Who's making that? Like, we just have got to think this through. But it's so strong that we just are, Band-Aids are the only answers, and we have to stop this. We have to be able to become our own advocates again. I didn't have live video when I was doing my journey, and I went from a 2X down to a large in my 50s now. I started with my targeted supplements. I started with the trio, 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. I started to fix my food, which I never, ever in a million, bazillion, gazillion years thought I was going to do, because I'm Italian. But I did. I started to trade out one ingredient at a time, and I started asking myself a lot of questions. Like, what is it that I really do like? Can I go without that? Why did that bother me? What are my non-negotiables that I have to find a trade out for? I did all of those things, and I was able to fix that piece. And then because when you can bring your insulin and your sugars down, you can actually begin to lose weight again. And, going from a 2X down to a large in my 50s after my cycle stopped, that means something to me, because that means that we can swim upstream. They're telling us that we're swimming upstream. They're telling you, maybe not you, maybe it was just me, this is just what it's like to get old. This is just what it's like to get older. This is just normal. If you're in your 50s, girlfriend, 3 scripts, normal. You are common if you're on 3 scripts in your 50s. Well, I just reject that completely. Go away. Go away. There are natural things that God gave us to fix things. My dad did the normal and the common with the lazy Susan, and then he was dead at 63. So I'm not interested in normal or common, and I don't want to be average. So I'm 59, no scripts, no type 2 in sight, never will. This is how this is going to go, right? Because now I understand. And again, it's not a terminal conversation. Good morning, Miss Anna. Let me think about that, Carrie. So what is another reason why we can't lose weight if numbers aren't high? So both your fasting insulin and your sugars are good? Is that what you're saying? You call yourself Vicky. Oh, you're empathic self-advocate. Very good. You're ready to stop the cycle, 51. I get it, Carrie. I get it. Oh, that's interesting, Vicky. I don't know if I agree with that, but that is an interesting, you're talking about probiotics. You dropped out of med school in 2005 because of big PHA. Yep. I know. It's really interesting, you guys. God bless you too. God bless you back. And I say this a lot, but it's crazy. So the people that I end up getting connected with the most are nurses. And I think it's because of that. You guys were in the system or are in the system. Yep, wild yam cream. I never did that, but what I did do was I did adaptogenic herbs. But I didn't know that. I didn't know any of this. So I literally was working in a medical clinic, and I was working with a naturopath who told me that the way that I would go through menopause was the way that I treated my adrenals. And I didn't even know what an adrenal was. And I just kind of tucked that away. I didn't really major addiction to sugar, had no interest in changing out my foods, full-blown Italian, eating everything white, sweet, salty, all of it. Never, my idea of supplementation was ibuprofen and a banned weight loss drug from Walmart from my 30s. Like I didn't do any of this. I didn't know any of this. I was in my yearbook of my 40s, it would have said least likely to ever do anything holistic or natural or even become her own advocate for her own body. That's what it would have said under my picture in my 40s. I'll show you the picture. And so when I began to take things, I took them for different other reasons. When I started taking the trio for my sugars, I didn't have any idea what it was going to do for me internally. I didn't understand biologically what it was doing. Okay. But I took it because my mother wouldn't leave me alone. When I started adaptogenic herbs for my hormones and ending up never having a hot flash ever, even though a surgery kicked me into menopause and I never had a cycle again. I'm 59, never had a hot flash, had no idea adaptogenic herbs were going to help me like that. Adapt to what? What's an adaptogen? Like that was me. Okay. I'll show you my picture. You'll see, I'll show you the clueless version of myself in my 40s that started my adaptogenic herbs. They ended up supporting my adrenals, balancing out my hormones, never had a hot flash. And at the same time, I'm starting with my sugars and I'm taking the trio, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. I'm doing that because my mother won't leave me alone and not because I was wise. And this is my before and after that I have. This is on my website. But this girl right here, clueless. I'll show everybody. 60-year-old doc said, just fast. He's not very helpful. Having a hard time losing. I know. I'm sorry. Good morning, Deborah. Good to see you. That's my before and after. So that's me in my 40s being very, very clueless. I never, ever, you could have never convinced me that this is what I was. Do it, much less teach it, much less, no. It's good to see you. So which herbs? Carrie says, oh, Carrie, so let's, hold on. So Carrie, did you answer the question? First of all, because I don't want to miss this. So Carrie, is your fasting insulin and your sugars high? Is that what you are saying? And you still can't lose weight? That was my first question. And then you're talking about the herbs. So on my site, there is the purple packet. I still take it. And it has 3 adaptogenic herbs in it. And then it has all of your 8B vitamins time released. And a lot of women do not know that they are all normal. Even your fasting insulin is normal. That's super interesting to me. Most women do not know that if they are deficient in certain B vitamins, that there can be anxiousness and sadness. You know, the D word. Well, then, you know what? If you're not insulin resistant, Carrie. So, I mean, I just want to make sure, like, you're not type 2, you're not anything, you're not any meds for type 2 or anything like that. You just have a hard time losing weight in general. Is that maybe what you're saying? The trio so those are 3 supplements that have, I can show them to you here. I can pull them out. 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. And I'll just tell you right now, like, again, I started taking these a long time ago and I didn't know anything about them. If you want the testimonies, you guys, like, don't take my word for it. Let me make sure that's not my ashwagandha. Hold on just a second. Yep, that's my ashwagandha. I want this one. Don't take my word for it, because I'm the one who avoided type 2. I'm the only one in my family. And it's because I very unknowingly and very naively started to take supplements. Had no idea. And so I completely avoided it. And now the people that you should listen to, in my opinion, are the people who are giving me the data. They're giving me their blood tests. They're giving me their fasting insulin tests. Okay. And so that information is over on IG. There's a pink highlight bubble at the top. You don't have to follow me. You don't have to stay on IG. If you don't have IG, you can just use a friend's phone for a minute. Just go to Kirsten Liebelt on IG. At the top, there's a bubble. And those testimonies, almost all of them are just since January 1st. And you just filter through them. Somebody's sugars came down, somebody's, their cravings, their appetite control, their losing weight. They were stuck on keto. Losing weight, they were for 3 years, couldn't lose 1 pound, even though their A1C came down significantly. Things like that. You have to gain your hope and encouragement from other people. Instagram. I talk in code a lot because at different times in life, because platforms get jealous. They get jealous of each other. And so they'll flag you. You're not at all, Deborah. Yep. Nope. You're not at all. IG is Instagram. Yep. I know. Right. But because they don't want you to leave the platform, whatever it is that you're on. So no matter where I'm at, it's like, they want you to stay on as long as possible. So they don't want you sending people to other places. I know it's a whole mind thing. And so sometimes all I do is I know that you're on IG. Okay, good. So at the very top, there's a pink highlight bubble at the top of my IG page, my Instagram page. And that's where I keep putting my testimonies. People will text me. I'll wake up to a text that says, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I'm 10 pounds down, blah, blah, blah." I'll screenshot it, I'll put it up in my stories, and I'll drop it into a highlight bubble so that you can just see them. I try to capture the date that it's happening so that you can see, when they're happening. Anyway, so these are the 3. They're very little. And this one you take 3 times a day. And these 2 you take twice a day. Okay. And they're helping with the sugars and the insulin, your liver, your visceral belly fat. It's helping the internal system navigation of your engine. That's the best way that I can say it. It's like, if there are certain ingredients, and there are more that help, but this is the base. There are ingredients that some of them are nutritional deficiencies that are getting filled in that we're just deficient in because of our soil or our food supply or whatever. Or, like a simple explanation would be, and this is not a salt conversation, the supplements aren't, but when we went from iodized salt to pink Himalayan salt, and we do that most of the time, and iodized salt is crap. So I'm not advocating it, but I am saying that then there became this deficiency in, there became a deficiency in iodine, and iodine is really helpful for thyroid. So we just create in our own food supplies certain deficiencies, whatever. But there are also just things that can help you with going from insulin resistant towards your sensitivity. You want your cell, instead of it being closed off, you want it to open up and be sensitive again to insulin. That's what we're doing. That's why the testimonies come. So this is the trio. And you're on IG, so you can do one of 2 things. You can get into my inbox. Well, it's probably the best way. You can literally get into my inbox and go, listen, I was on your live. You're talking about the trio. Like, will you send me a cart? I want to see what those 3 are so that I can see the ingredients and all the good stuff. Okay, you can do that. I want to answer your questions though. So over here, she could have PCOS and still have normal readings. Yeah. You know what? That's actually a really good point. So this is the deal, Carrie. You had a hysterectomy. Got it. When I talk about, so I'm going to change conversation for just a second. I'm going to change it back over to the purple packet, because adaptogenic herbs, what they do is they help your body adapt to stress. They come in and they can support your adrenals. And your adrenals are what regulate your hormones. So when your ovaries are done for their lifespan, they're like tapping out, your adrenals are the backup. So if we have high cortisol, if we've shot our adrenals, whatever. And that's why that naturopath told me the way you go through menopause will be the way you take care of your adrenals. In hindsight, that makes perfect sense to me now, right? So maybe, and I think that she's right too, Movie Mama, that you could have PCOS and your readings could be normal. And that's a connection. So you are still, you know what though, Carrie, I still think that you could probably go places with some adaptogenic herbs and to see what happens, because even like, insulin is a hormone, cortisol is a hormone. If you can begin to bring balance to your hormones, even women, we don't want to be low in testosterone. We always think that's such a male hormone. No, we don't want to be low in testosterone either. And so, like, for instance, I had somebody who, when she started taking the purple packet, she was having her blood test done. And this is taking 1 in the morning and then 1 after lunch, 2 packets a day. And it's on my site. But she said, oh my gosh, my testosterone went up 4 points. It's exactly where it needs to be. And I'm like, well, okay, cool. But she was tracking and she knew she needed that. And so if you can get your hormones to start to come into a better balance, I'm telling you, it fixes so many things, including the ability to lose weight, including the ability to actually release. And then also to, the one piece about the trio, it being a part for your liver literally governs your fat metabolism. It governs your hormones. It governs your blood glucose levels. It governs your ability to lose fat. And so if your liver is just exhausted and it's toxic and you've never helped to support it, It's just another point of contention of not being able to lose weight, specifically, not just weight. I don't like talking about just losing weight. Fat. We want fat loss. We don't want just weight loss. We don't want to lose muscle or just water weight or just inflammation, although good, or just toxins, although good, or we don't want to lose, we don't want the scale to be our guide and all it's telling us is that we've lost impacted waste. Although important, we want to lose impacted waste, but the scale is not going to tell you if you've gotten your liver up and running. It's not going to tell you, whether or not maybe it is. Actually, now we have these smart scales, right? I don't have one. So, but the actual fat loss where you can see the fat leave your arm, you can see the fat leave the inside of your knees. That's what we're going for. Fight or flight has been your life. You're trying to correct that now. Carrie, I'm telling you, I will give you a very specific thought process. I just did it with somebody else last night. Very specific with how to dose, even specifically just one of the adaptogenic herbs that I'm talking about. If you'll reach out to me, if you'll get into my inbox, like on Instagram, because I can tell you, I can just help you in that arena, because it's always worth a try. And this is what I tell people. Listen, yeah, be sure to love your liver. Sarah says, yes, you have to love your liver. Like, if you understood, if all you ever heard from this entire thing was that your liver helps you to lose fat, you would leave this live and you'd go all over your liver. You would love your liver every day because it is such a major component. And we just keep doing this to our liver. Bam, 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 bam. And then we expect it to function. We're like seed oils and high fructose corn syrup that can only be metabolized by your liver as opposed to glucose. And we're just going to, all the toxins that we eat and all the processed foods and, glyphosate, we're just like, keep working liver, keep going, little buddy. And our livers are like, and then we can't lose fat. And we're like wondering what is wrong with our body. Well, see, if we can get our internal engine going, if we can get what would that be like of a big, is it a turbine that I'm thinking? Like get it to start working again. Honestly, you guys, there's like a flow that can start to take place in your body and you can, because again, if we go back, and if the root, and I know, Carrie, we're having a different conversation, but for everybody else, if the root is insulin resistance, then don't you want to turn back the insulin resistance? And then watch other things fall into place. I've had people say my BP got better. I've had people say my fasting insulin test is like from 24 down to 8. I've had people tell me that their morning sugars went from the 180s down to the 150s. I've had people tell me, oh, just by the way, we're, a couple months into the year, I've lost 20 pounds since January 1st. Okay. Like these are the things that people, so you turn back that root, get to the root. What's underneath the ground? Insulin resistance right here underneath the surface. But we don't do that. Instead, we come at it and we start putting Band-Aids on it. Well, maybe, and I'm not against intermittent fasting at all. I'm not. But it's not going to be your only answer, most likely. In my opinion, because I'm not a doctor. But in my opinion, it's not. Eating yogurt for your probiotic, in my opinion, it's not going to do it. Like the insulin resistance has already caused some, like ripples in the water that need to be dealt with. I missed something. Hold on. All right. Hold on. I missed it. You too. Yep. Always in fight or flight mode. Wow. A lot of you guys. Okay. Well then, yep. Or I should say I was for the last 8 years coming out of it. Divorce will be final this month from domestic abuse. You know what, Brand? And I won't even say your name. Yeah. You guys all have a story. And I get to chat with a lot of you in my inbox about your stories. And I talked about this the other day. I took care of my mom with dementia for 5 years, and that's a very hard journey. We had so much, my sister and I had so much grace as we did it. Like, we were incredibly blessed to have been able to do it. And God took care of her the whole time, meaning we didn't have, any major disasters, right? Because there's just a lot that could go wrong. But it's a challenging journey. And there are so many of you right now that I am connected with that you are taking care of an elderly parent with dementia. So I already know your cortisol's off. I already know you're not sleeping at night because I understand how this goes, because you're listening. And it's the same thing now with that. When you're saying that for the last 8 years, domestic abuse, etc. So cortisol, and this is me being a total like not whatever, not being a naturopath because I'm not. Insulin and cortisol seem to be like these sister hormones. And both of them need to get in alignment. And there needs to be a healing process. But you absolutely can. And so, and when you do, those are both pieces of the belly fat conversation that is so frustrating. But it's because they're hormones. They're hormones. So a lot of people aren't talking to us about insulin, the hormone. Instead, if you go to your provider, they're talking to you about insulin, the need for scripts. It's just because that's what the answer is going to be, because that's what they're being taught. It's not available in South Africa. I'm so sorry. You have such a strong character that sometimes you think that I plateau on medications. There's no question. There's no question, because again, do you mean like your weight loss plateaus because you're taking medications? Because I think that's what you're saying. I would love to know. You haven't weighed yourself since you started your journey. You will check in 2 months. It takes willpower. It does, Megda. You've tried everything else. 6-month guarantee, Carrie. What if you tried something and in 5 months, you still knew you had a month left on your guarantee? I'm just telling you. Nobody else has that. No, that's not what you're saying. Tell me what you're saying. It's worth another stab at how you could potentially help your adrenals and take it from that thought process. And that's why even like when I'm talking about insulin resistance, it's like, if women are sliding into their 40s, they're insulin resistant and they do not know it, and they're having a hard time losing weight or they're gaining weight, and the only answer that they're getting is injections or count points or this is just what it's like to get old. This is your metabolism slowing down. This is, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And nobody's having that conversation about the instigation of insulin being a hormone that when it's high, you can't lose weight. That is such a very frustrating conversation. So I'm a very narrow conversationalist. I talk about 2 things and 2 things only. The umbrella is insulin resistance. I have balloons on Instagram, party. Insulin resistance. And I talk about targeted supplementation and food ingredient trade outs. The Facebook group is called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. There are over, I think, 4,100 maybe women in there now. We'll do another challenge Monday, July 8th. And I'll do the ingredient trade outs and the pantry and my refrigerator, targeted supplements, a recipe. Like, get yourself equipped. But if you can put on different glasses when you're looking at weight loss, put on different glasses, a different lens, a different viewpoint of what's going on in your body. This is the insulin resistant glasses that I'm talking to people about. And it may not be you, but What if it is? Put them on. Let's change the way you're viewing weight loss. Let's get your sugars and your insulin to come down. Let's fix what got you into the pickle to begin with. I mean, seriously, like 75% of Americans are insulin resistant. It's why we have all of the PCOS. It's why we have all of the type 2. It's why we have all of the fatty liver. It's why we have all, fill in the blank. It's become so common. So if you can change your lens, then potentially, right? Because I'm not going to make any claims, right? Potentially, you're able to then change the way your body is releasing fat. But then let's fix it with food. Let's fix what got you into the pickle to begin with. And as an Italian, I feel like that gives me a lot of ability to talk to people because in culture, you have a lot of food connections. It's just the way it is. People know what I mean when I say that. There's a lot of emotional connections to food. And so that's what I do. Targeted supplements, food, targeted supplements, food, targeted supplements, food. The trio is your base conversation. Same thing for you, Carrie. What if, and we'll have to chat. Maybe there were a lot of conversations about a lot of different things to help you with weight loss, but nobody has talked to you about adrenal fatigue. Maybe nobody's talked to you about supporting your adrenals so that your hormones can actually be balanced, over time. But nothing is a quick fix. There is no magic. There's a healing process because we have a lot of inflammation going on if it's insulin resistance, right? We've got a lot of stuff going on. So we have to back it up, back it up, back it up. But you can do it with a track to run on. So, that's right. So Magda, you said that you haven't been weighing yourself. I think I got rid of my scale probably a good 6 years ago. Measure yourself. Just measure yourself. Because number one, there can be mind games. And number two, it's just telling you your body standing in gravity. Like it's not telling you what's really going on. And it's not telling you that, listen, you've been working really hard to bring down your A1C and weight loss is right around the corner. Don't give up. It's not telling you the foods that you're eating and how they're spiking your sugars. It's not telling you the level of inflammation you have in your body. It's not telling you so many things. It's just my opinion. Just my opinion. You feel like the medication stops working for you. Oh, I see. Yes. I would say that's probably a common conversation. And then the doctor changes it up. Ditch insulin resistance for women is the group. Ditch insulin resistance for women. Yep, not adrenals. I know. And again, I just found these things out by accident. I mean, I don't even mean to, it's not because I knew stuff. It's just not. I really do believe that I was just like, sometimes I think God's like, you're just going to need some help, honey. And so I'm just going to help you. I really do feel like that's maybe what he did in my 40s because I was really just not paying any attention. I wasn't assessing myself. I wasn't thinking about even getting help. I wasn't even thinking about getting healthy. I don't know why. It just wasn't my trajectory or whatever. It wasn't my path. So anyway, but Carrie, I look forward to chatting with you. Yeah. And I don't know, tell me, I would like to know, like, what meds are you talking about that they keep changing up? What kind of meds? Are you talking about weight loss? Or for type 2 that they stop working? What are you saying that they stop working? I would like to know that because that would be very interesting to me. And I know that I'm missing comments on Facebook. I can see it. I just know I can't see them all. And I never know if it's from my business or my personal. So I apologize if I'm missing stuff. So anyway, so I hope that makes sense to you. And I always end, with letting you know that, like for instance, on TikTok, you can go up here to my face and then my face will come up again in the middle and you can get to my page and there's a number on there and you can message me like this. Okay. And, just let me know. Listen, I was on your live and you were talking about the trio. Can you get me a cart that has that in there? I'd like to see it Because if you're confused and you don't know where to go and you don't know how to see things, you're not going to do anything. And that doesn't serve you. And then the second thing for TikTok is there is an icon for Instagram. Click on it. Jump over, even if you don't need to stay there. Jump over though and look at the pink highlight bubble with the testimonies for the trio, because that's where the beginning starts for so many people. And then you can also jump into my Facebook group. Instagram, you're already there. Yeah. Okay. Oh, God, I'm so sorry. So she's talking about Met. I won't say the whole thing. I don't know how to say those without saying them. Glimma. If anybody knows what that is, these are all for to help type 2. And the Truel. Yes. And I'm sorry, because golly, how dumb is this? How dumb is this? What if the ADA just told you to get your carbs down to 20 or lower, eat grain-free, sugar-free, and I'm not saying you because you might already be doing all of this, but I'm just saying, told anybody, you literally can change the way you eat and change the way you're spiking your sugars and stop getting such high insulin, No, that's not what has happened. And I don't know that anything has changed. I'm just going to be honest. This is probably what ticks me off the most. My father, as an insulin dependent, twice a day in his belly, type 2 diabetic, back in his day, he was told to eat Cheerios and skim milk. Both of them spike your sugars to the moon. Skim milk is really high in sugars. But that's what he was told because, right? 9 to 11 servings of grain a day. You should be eating whole grains. I just had a conversation last week with somebody that she said, well, her dietitian is telling her with type 2, that she should be limiting meat and eating a lot of whole grain. Who am I to argue with, somebody who has letters after their name? Like, that's the dumbest, worst advice I could ever imagine. If you are insulin resistant, you can't do that. That is really, it's criminal. It's criminal, you guys. I watched it for not 5 years for my brother, 2 years for my brother between 2018 and 2020. After he was type 2, he had a heart attack, quadruple bypass surgery. He had a stroke on the table, and he spent 2 years in hospitals, LTACs, emergency rooms, intensive care, group home, nursing home, every single institution. And I am in Minnesota, the land of the Mayo Clinic. It meant nothing. They fed him crap. They fed him the worst. The diabetic diet that showed up on a tray was the worst. The worst. It's criminal. It's so ridiculous. You do need more protein. You do. I know, Andrea. Yeah, because protein stabilizes your blood sugars. So all of those meds are creating nutritional deficiencies. That's number one. But number two, they're not even a guarantee of anything. They're not even meant to heal you. They're not meant to turn anything back. They're supposed to manage. And do you see how they're not? Right? But in your diet, you've got to get your protein way, way up and way over 100 grams a day. That means, like, I haven't even eaten yet for today. I haven't had breakfast, but I will. I'll get off here. I'll make myself probably, and I said this to you last night, Andrea, I'll probably have like 3 eggs and a chicken sausage, and it'll be 32 grams of protein. My blood sugar will be for a long time. I probably won't even be hungry for another 4 hours. I'll just be satiated. My hormones will be like, yay, thank you. Like, my body will feel good. That's what will happen. But Sometimes we ride that fence of we can have this or we can, because it's in our brain, you guys. It's not your fault. It's in your brain. Don't be ridiculous. It's all about balance. You should eat everything in balance. Your plate should look like this. It should have a balance of vegetables and just a little palm size of meat, maybe. And then maybe you should have something like a side dish, rice or potatoes. Or listen, I'm just telling you, that is a really bad information. It's what got us to where we are. Probably not true. Probably what got us to where we are is the overconsumption of carbohydrates alone just like we just do it now all day long, every day. We start out with bagels and cereal and we move to sugar coffees at Starbucks and then we eat Subway sandwiches and they're foot long. And then we're grabbing maybe a granola bar in the afternoon thinking we're doing something healthy and it's full of sugar and seed oils. And then, just the list goes on, right? So we've done this to ourselves. I get it, but we have to back up and it's not about balance anymore. And it's not about, listening to all of the advice, in my opinion, that is, all about, that's not sustainable. What are you thinking? You can't sustain a whole food keto life. That's too restrictive. You will never be able to do it. BS. This is where I get really passionate. What's not sustainable is the way that my father was living. On dialysis, puking every other day when he had a session. He literally said himself, this is no way to live, and within 36 hours, he was gone. He was not even in the hospital. Okay, that's not true. He was in the hospital having a dialysis session, but he wasn't a patient in the hospital. But he was so tired of being sick and disgusted and having a very, 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 very low functioning, low quality life where he had no energy. His heart was failing. He was exhausted. He was throwing up. He was barely hanging on. That's not sustainable. That's what's not sustainable. Yeah, go to Aldi's for sausage. The Never Any brand. You witnessed that as well while your mom was hospitalized. You questioned it. Yep. Mm-hmm. And the answer was, yeah. Uh-huh. A doctor on YouTube said if you eat 3/4 cup of millet every day for 6 weeks, it stops. Well, it's just, I don't know anything about that. That would not be my thought process at all. Millet is grain. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Nope. I'm just telling you, we have to start to think for ourselves and stop listening to everybody that is not in our position. Or, if somebody's in their 30s and they're telling you that all you need to do is, like all you have to do is intermittent fast and maybe count some points or whatever the advice would be. And that's not where we are in our stage of life, then that information isn't for us. We have to have information that matches where we are. Nothing makes me more frustrated than to hear somebody saying that all they keep doing is here we go. Let's get on the merry-go-round. Med. Oh, this one's not working. Med. And in the meantime, you're creating more inflammation in your body. You're creating nutritional deficiencies in your body. Honestly, it's just like, stop it. You're creating the gut issue. Let's go back to the beginning of this conversation. Insulin resistance is creating gut issues. And by the way, you can always reach out and say, I need the cart for the gut issues. And there are 3 things I'll put in that cart for you. But I'm just telling you, if that's how do they do this? How do they just keep rotating musical chairs with meds and never, ever, 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 ever give the information necessary to fix what got you into the pickle to begin with? This is not rocket science, people. This is not terminal. Man, it just ticks me off. It's ridiculous. Yes, dairy can create inflammation in the body. I am not dairy free, but yes, dairy can. And it can stall your weight loss. So it depends, everybody has to assess themselves on stuff like that. If you know that it's if I eat a lot of dairy, you can be bloated, you can all those things. Some people, they turn to raw milk, all those things, but you also have to be careful with all of the nut milks too, because they can have carrageenan in them and all sorts of emulsifiers, and that's really bad for your gut too. So, like for instance, if I'm going to go dairy free, let's pretend, I would probably start drinking, I would use coconut milk out of a can. Probably is what I would do the most, even though, because something like a xanthan gum is probably which they use for kind of a thickener, that can be less irritating than some of the other things. Loving 14. OMG, I really need your help. Yes. Well, you can always reach out to me. Like, for real. My contact information is everywhere. You use coconut milk. Yeah. And again, you can buy coconut milk in the carton in your refrigerator. You got to be careful of the ingredients. You just got to pay attention. And it just, and everybody's at a different stage. It's okay. Like, we're not going to sit around and be like the judges of every single ingredient, but if it's causing inflammation, if it's slowing down your weight loss, if it's irritating you because you already have stuff going on, you do have to pay attention to that, right? Like, I don't have autoimmune conditions, but somebody that I'm talking to might. And you need to know then something could be really bugging you and you didn't know that. Like, nobody ever told you that. That's all. So like, for instance, now one of the recipes, I'll go back to the Facebook group, is Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. When you get in there, you'll be tagged in a PDF that is free recipes, pantry ideas. And just be patient, because every day more people are, whatever, just be patient because it's growing. And one of the recipes is the sugar-free chocolate pudding, which is made with egg whites. Andrea, this is a really good way for you to get more protein in your diet. Your protein doesn't have to come from red meat. Everybody, whatever, even though I'm not against that at all. But egg white protein, this is coming from Maria Emmerich, her recipe. And I use a can of coconut milk, and it's such an amazing homemade chocolate pudding. My husband's like, this is like what it was like when I was growing up. Like, it's so good. You recently was told even organic frozen edamame is inflammatory, even when steamed or baked. Well, the deal is with soy. So God did not make bad food. We have ruined our food supply, or we have become so highly estrogenic that adding extra soy or extra things that are estrogenic can be very frustrating to our systems. And it's because of what we've done. So like, for instance, like, you microwave in plastic, we drink out of plastic bottles, we do all of these things that really get our hormones. We have so many hormone disruptors that sometimes we have to really stream back. We have to pull way back, because we put so much Bath and Body Works all over our body. Like, that's a real thing. Obesogens are a real thing, where we're just slathering our biggest organ, our skin, with hormone disruptors. And then we're like eating food that messes up our hormones. And then we're, using plastic and all of these, BPAs. And then we spray all of our furniture with all of the, anti-stain stuff, and our brand new carpet. And like, we just have so much coming at us that when then you have this conversation, and I don't know why they were saying that about edamame necessarily for them. But when I think about edamame, again, just what if adding more soy to your life just tips you right over the edge? Yeah. So can it be? Sure. I just avoid things I just understand maybe the root of where a lot of this came from. You definitely will. Overall, this medication they have me on for, I know, loving. So basically, just to let you know that what I do is I talk to people about targeted supplementation for insulin resistance. And this is what I started with over 10 years ago. Okay. So this is the trio. So if I talk to you about the trio, you'll know what I'm talking about. 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. And I can literally give you a cart for that, so you can see it for yourself all in one place. It kind of helps. So, yeah. So I'm grain free. I teach in the Facebook group grain-free, sugar-free, but I love the foods that I eat. You have to hear that. I'm still a foodie. I thought I had to give up being a foodie. That was one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle, being an Italian girl. I thought I had to give up being a foodie, but I didn't. I didn't. Instead of, this is why I take you into my pantry. This is the number one reason why I take you into my pantry inside of the challenge. I do a free challenge at the beginning of every month in the Facebook group, because we were raised to have one set of ingredients. I wish I had we were raised to have one set of ingredients in our pantry: Crisco, white flour, vegetable oil, canola oil, white sugar, brown sugar, which is just white sugar with molasses. Let's see what else is in here. Maybe there's a pre-made cake mix. Maybe there's a, even if you're sugar-free, maybe it's sugar-free chocolate pudding that, from that one company, the Jell-O company, and it's, has aspartame in it. Okay. So maybe that's one pantry over here. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to show you that there's a completely different pantry where you can make the same foods. You're just using different ingredients. So you don't have to give up everything you made out of this that you loved. You're going to make it now just with a different set of ingredients. So over here in my pantry, I have coconut oil and olive oil and avocado oil, and I have almond flour and coconut flour, and I'm using like maybe stevia or monk fruit, allulose, etc. But I'm making the same foods that I love. But I disconnected that. I thought that I had to completely give up everything that I loved when I got rid of this pantry, and I set that aside. I thought that this pantry was going to make me food that I hated. It's the opposite. It makes me everything that I love. Now I've been able to go from a 2X down to a large in my 50s. Like, does that make sense? Like, I've been able to change my trajectory because I changed the spiking of my sugars. I changed the level of carbohydrates I was eating. I've changed a lot. I mean, I've changed, I don't eat the seed oils, the inflammatory toxic seed oils, and the high fructose corn syrup, and all of the things, right? Like, I was raised on all of that other stuff. I was raised on Crisco. My mother was she had a home ec degree. And she was taught when she went to college for her home ec degree that ice cream was a really good source of calcium, and that's how you should raise your kids. That was a really bad idea. I'm just saying, we ate a lot of ice cream. We ate a lot of sugar. So I just want people to have hope, like, be encouraged, have hope. So anyway, so that sugar-free chocolate pudding is actually in the PDF. Okay. I think I missed something here. Hold on. My family is texting each other. I can see them. Good morning, Barb. Good to see you. Good morning, Julie. Good morning, Julie. How are you? I hope you're doing well today. Okay. Want to make sure. And I just know I'm missing stuff on Facebook. I apologize. It is what it is. Okay. So if you need anything, reach out to me. Okay. If you need a cart for the trio, let me know you're on my live and you need a cart for the trio. If you need a cart for gut health, the 3 things that I was talking about on this live for your gut, I'll put those 3 in a cart for you. I haven't even created it yet, but I will. If you need both, just tell me you need both. I'll just create what it is that you need for yourself. That's the difference between what I'm talking about to help people narrow things down. Like, let's streamline your life so that you don't have a supplement cupboard that looks like your makeup drawer attitude. I don't take what you need. Don't take what you don't need. And then what else was there? And then the Facebook group is Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. Jump in there. So you made cottage cheese ice cream and a coconut milk protein shake ice cream. I bet that was really good. I haven't done a lot. This is for me. I haven't done a lot of the cottage cheese recipes because, again, I pick and choose my dairy because dairy will stall my weight loss. Just what it is. And it's fine, but I bet it tasted really good. My daughter made the most amazing ice cream. OMG. Like I can't make this and have this in my freezer because I'll eat it all the time. But it was a custard ice cream, probably from Maria Emmerich. And so there was cream, egg yolks, allulose, because allulose sweetener will keep it soft in the freezer. But then she used cocoa powder and Lily's like milk chocolate chips. Oh my gosh, you guys. That was amazing. Like I took a few, I ate a little bit of her pint and I'm like, I gotta put this away because I'll eat the whole thing. Really, 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 really good. So there are really amazing recipes that are out there. And it's not harder to make these. It's just different. It just hurts your head a little bit. It hurts your mind a little bit when you're trading out ingredients. That's all. Because you're learning a little bit of a new language. It's okay. You'll get it. You'll get something into your repertoire and you go, okay, I can do this one. I'll just add this one. And you'll make it enough times that you'll know how to do it. I have not tried the avocado bread. Anna, have you tried it? Did you do it? So if I'm not mistaken, that's an avocado, an egg. Is there anything else in there? Cheese, maybe. Maybe there's cheese in there. It looks so good, but I did have some really good guacamole yesterday at a Mexican restaurant. I haven't tried that one yet though, but I would like to because that looks very legit. And I know the girl who you like avocado bread. Do you make it yourself, Brandy? I know the girl who I think she kind of invented it a little bit. Her name is Erin. She's on TikTok. Probably most people don't know that she invented it. Avocado ice cream, very good. Ah, so good. So good. You've made the avocado bread. Yeah, I should probably try it. I should probably try it for sure. I have somebody that's texting me for an appointment that I need to be on right now. So I have to fly. But you guys have such an amazing day. And I will chat with you on, I might come live and do some recipe stuff here over the weekend. But otherwise, I'll be here at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on Monday, the 8th. And that's also when the Facebook group is starting the challenge at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And yes, the replay will be in there. So you mixed Greek yogurt and peanut butter and put in silicone muffin pan drizzled with chocolate syrup. That sounds sugar-free chocolate syrup. That sounds really good. That sounds really good. Okay, have a great weekend. Okay, very good. I gotta go. She's talking to me. All right, see you guys later. Have a great day. Oh, that was weird. There we go. All right, Facebook. If you need anything, put it in the comments and I will get to you. I promise.